Today we will crochet the striped shoulder bag. It has a box bottom. The opening is finished nicely with an optional magnetic closure. We will also crochet the straps and reinforce it to minimize sagging. The stitches used are the chain stitches and the single crochet stitches. I will show you how to do that. If you have tried the last crochet along tutorial where we make a small rectangle, that is pretty much the skills we need to make this bag. I also simplified the bag pattern to one large rectangle. I will show you how to calculate the size and the amount of yarn needed so you can make one in your preferred size. Let's begin with the materials. I'm using a 4-ply cotton yarn double strand. So I just pull the yarn ends from the inside and outside of the yarn ball and hold them together while I crochet. You see that it creates a much thicker and denser fabric, which is a very good material for bags. This yarn size calls for a size 2.5 millimeter crochet hook, but since I'm using double strands, I increased the hook size to a 3 millimeter hook. We will use the moss stitch to crochet up a rectangle. We will do a set of 4 rows for each color horizontally. The pattern is rotated so the stripes run vertical when we sew up the bag. This area here is the bag's opening, which will be folded inside the bag. This will make the opening neat and also cover up the stitches we make when we sew on the straps. Below is the bag's body. It also includes the sides of the bag. I planned the sides to be each 3 stripes wide. And this area here will be the bottom of the bag. It is half the width of the side, so 1.5 stripes wide. To figure out how many stitches we need, we can crochet sample swatches and measure. I did 10 stitches here and it measured 5 centimeters. If I want it to be 30 centimeters, I will need 60 chains at least. On this bag, I did 64 chains. To calculate the width of the bag, I measure across the 4 sets of rows. It's about 8 centimeters. If I want my bag to be 28 centimeters across, then I'll just redo the cross multiply thing and I will need 14 stripes for the front and another 14 for the back. Now we can check the bottom's width after it is boxed. 14 stripes across minus 3 for the sides will get 11 stripes, which is 22 centimeters. So it's a good size. You can fit a small makeup bag, maybe an A5 size notebook, a phone. The sides are 3 stripes wide. So do the cross multiply thing, we will get 6 centimeters. So pretty roomy. If you are altering the width of the bag, the number of stripes have to be in an even number. So when we join the sides, the alternating color pattern can continue seamlessly. If you are altering the length, the number of chains are also in even numbers. So take your double strand of yarn and make a loop. Fold it over and pull the inside part out. Then slip your hook inside. Now we cinch it. This is the slip knot and then we will chain 64. So this is 3, 4, 5. Move up and pinch it so that it doesn't twist. 6, 7, 8 So make sure you got both the strands of yarn. 9 10 I've made 64 chains. To start the new row, I will chain 1. This chain 1 will give your row its height. So if you didn't do a chain 1 at the beginning, you can only crochet 63 single crochets, and it will get like progressively smaller. After I chain 1, I'm going to turn it. You can see the back bumps here. This is the back bump that belongs to the chain that we make. You can feel it, and we will skip that one and we will crochet into the next bump. So try to get both strands of the yarn. So the first stitch is always tighter than the following. And now we will make a single crochet and then a chain 1. Now skip the next bump and crochet into the following one. So this is 1 single crochet, chain 1. We'll skip a chain and then crochet into the bump, 1 single crochet, chain 1. So the next chain we skip and push your crochet hook under the bump. Make a single crochet and a chain 1. There will be chain spaces between each single crochet that you make. And when we come back to do the second row, we will be making the single crochets into these chain spaces. So now I'm going to continue the pattern to the end of the row. So I'm near the end of the row. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains left, and I've already do the single crochet and the chain 1, so I have to skip this one and single crochet into this bump here, chain 1. So now I have 3 stitches left. So I want to skip this one and do a single crochet onto the remaining 2 chains. So the last one is also quite tricky. Okay, so this completes our row 1. On the next row, row 2, we will chain 1, turn our work, and we will go into this space here, just under the first chain. So if you pull it apart, you see a hole. Just go into this hole and do a single crochet and a chain 1. So single crochet in the chain space and chain 1, single crochet and then chain 1. I'm nearing the end of the row, and so I put my crochet hook, so you can actually see the space is like between the two V's. You can actually feel it is kind of softer than the other stitches. So do a single crochet and a chain one. You see the V here and the V here. So this is the spot that we are going to crochet into. So single crochet, chain one. And now we have 3 stitches left. So we will skip this one and single crochet onto the remaining 2. Go under the V and do a single crochet. So there you go. This is my 3rd row. I'm going to do row 4, chain 1 and turn, and go into this space here, do a single crochet and a chain 1, and we will just repeat this pattern until we reach the end of the row. Row 4 is where we will change colors. So I plan to do only 4 rows of each color. I'm at my last 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do the color change on this row. So I just single crochet into this stitch and also the last stitch. But instead of finishing the stitch, we will add a new color. So here we will finish the stitch and do the chain 1 for the next row. So tighten it and turn your work and go back into that space under the stitch and do a single crochet and a chain 1, where we will just repeat the pattern until we get 4 rows, and then we will change colors again. I've completed the rectangle 1 week later. Now it's time to weave in the tails. The good news is we carried the yarns all on the same side because of the even number of rows. So that saves us a lot of work. We will just weave in the yarn tail, like a maze so that it gets lost inside. So the next step is blocking our rectangle to even out the tension and lessen the waves. So stretch it out and pin it and give it a good misting and let it rest overnight. We will now stitch the sides together. We are working on the right side with 2 strands of yarn. So the stitch goes up horizontally, then back in the hole, and then back in the hole we came out of, so that there'll be 2, so that the stitch is done 2 times, and then we'll come out diagonally. Then we'll come out diagonally. Okay, so hard to pronounce. I started with the green yarn because I was running low on the beige. I still have to make the straps and I have only this amount left. But anyways, here's the close-up of the stitch. I changed the color back to beige for a uniform look. Now your rectangle is turned into a tube shape. We will sew the bottom. The piece is inside out. Important step here is to align the stripes so that the green is in the middle. I used a smaller 2mm crochet hook to do the slip stitches across the bottom, and I am only using 1 strand of yarn. So poke the crochet hook through, pull out a loop, go back in the next stitch, pull out a loop, and pull through to make a slip stitch. So we will repeat that across the bottom. Insert your hook, pull out a loop, pull through the loop on your hook. Insert your hook, pull out a loop, pull through the loop on your hook, and just repeat that, making sure to match the stripes. The stitches will look like a line of chain stitches on one side. So I'm gonna flip the bag. This is the correct side of the bag, and you see that it is almost invisible. Flip the bag back to the wrong side, and we are going to box the bottom. So flatten the corners so that it is 3 stripes wide. Take your time to adjust this part. When you look at the whole bag, the stripes should be in right angles, very geometric, strong lines. Okay. We will sew across these 3 stripes to box it. I'm using a regular running stitch, which you can go over the stitchings twice for strength. So we will repeat this on the other corner, and it should look like this. I use a smaller hook for the strap. I need 8 stitches to wrap around my webbing. So chain 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and add an extra chain for the next row. Single crochet to the end of the row. I'm crocheting on the back loop only. This is to reduce the bulk on the end of the straps. Chain 1 for the next row, turn, and do 8 single crochets. We will just repeat this until it is 56 centimeters or 22 inches long. So you can play with the length of your strap. I want this to go over my shoulders, so I made it longer. Working on the inside of the strap, insert the needle under a single loop and tie a knot to secure in place. Exit the needle on the corner and we will enclose the webbing. The needle goes straight across at the corner. Now we match the corner and sew across on the next row. The yarn will go diagonally over the row. This gives a less jagged edge, a nicer finish. When we reach the end, the crochet will shrink a bit, so cut off the excess webbing and seal it with a lighter. Continue sewing to the end. I secure it with a knot and hide the yarn tail inside the strap. So we will do this with the other strap and we will move on to the next step. We will sew the handles on like this on the third beige column from the center. I added a piece of felt for the stitchings to grab on, so pin it on top of the fourth beige stitch. Flip the back to the correct side. After we sew on the handles, this part will be turned inside to cover the felt. So don't sew the handles onto this area. Use a thick, sharp needle with a big head. We will sew through the webbing and the felt. Anchor the thread and count down 8 green stitches. I'm using the same yarn to hide the stitchings. After the webbing has been sewn through, we will sew the edges down. Handles are done. We will now finish the bag's opening. I installed this magnetic button set and later found out it's not strong enough to hold the bag close, but I will show you how to do it anyways. We're putting the needle under one loop to keep the stitches invisible on the right side. So don't see it. This is the position.
It's really lame. I think this is not. This is too. It's not deep enough. It's too shallow. Go see if I have some other one. So you can actually, when you're sewing this part, you can actually slip a pocket inside. Then you'll have a pocket in your bag.